Welcome to Cooking with Benson. Today we're gonna do like an adobo style pork. We're gonna let this pork sit in the adobo marinade that we're gonna create. It's more like a paste. We're gonna let it sit for 24 hours at least. You can do it in as little as 4 if you really want it to penetrate the pork. And in this instance, we're doing chicken too, only because we pulled a pork loin and a chicken out to have consecutive like chicken one night, pork the next night, and we went out. We were gone. So I gotta cook both. So I'm gonna do 1 chicken breast in the pork loin in this adobo, and I have like the other 2 chicken breasts going in some teriyaki sauce because my daughter doesn't eat spicy food and this adobo is a little spicy. But I'm going to show you the processes to make the paste that I use to do the adobo seasoning, paste, marinade and stuff, and then tomorrow we will show you how to make the braise. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that paste, add some stuff to it, make a liquid, and braise the meat in that liquid at like a 200-degree temperature in the oven for like 4 to 8 hours. You could also smoke this afterwards, pull it out, don't clean it off or anything like that, shove it in your smoker real low for 4 to 8 hours and let the pork loin go till it's about 160. And you could smoke this, making a smoked adobo pork loin, and then slice it real thin, make some sandwiches. It's good stuff. But this braise is just gonna work just as well, and we'll probably get like a pulled pork out of it, make some adobo tacos and stuff. But anyways, let's get to cracking. All right, so for our adobo pork, we're gonna start with a cup of adobo peppers. Usually get adobo peppers like in the sauce, in the adobo peppers in the adobo sauce in a can. Just get 2 of the small cans, or a 16-ounce can if you can find one, and do half to 3/4 of the can. You're gonna get that in there. You're gonna go in with about a cup of Worcestershire sauce. Do a 1/4 cup of salt. Do about a 1/4 of a cup of granulated garlic or powdered garlic, whatever you have. We're gonna crush 1 star of anise and get that in there. About a 1/4 cup of cumin, ground cumin. Do 3 tablespoons of paprika, smoked paprika. 3 tablespoons of ground chili powder. A 1/4 of a cup of onion powder. 4 tablespoons of whatever preferred honey you want to go with. I'm going to go with a dark wildflower honey. That's it. I'm going to stir this up, and I'm going to add some lemon juice. So I'm going to get this stirred up real quick. We've made like a paste almost, and then we're going to go in with a whole lemon, just fresh squeezed. Try and make sure you get the seeds out if any fall in. I thought I got all those out. If any of the seeds fall in, try and get those out, because we will end up making like a sauce out of this paste later. Stirred this paste up. I did chop up the peppers while I stirred to kind of help make sure they release. Alright, that's everything mixed up. We're going to get our pork and a couple chicken breasts in here and get them good and coated. Lid this bad boy and let it soak for a little while. And like I said, we want this, whatever's left over, to stay with this, because when we go to throw it, I'm probably going to braise this in the oven in this mixture. I'm going to add some like tomato paste and some tomato puree and stuff to it, and then probably braise it in this mixture. I was going to smoke it, but I think I'm going to try a braise on it instead. So, alright, so there's the pork loin, there's a chicken breast, so good and coated. I'm going to put a lid on this and put it in the fridge for anywhere from 4 to 24 hours. You want to get at least, you can probably do it for an hour and get an okay marinade on it, like that the meat will absorb it, okay. But I'd say if you can, let's try to get this done at least 4 hours in advance, or even the day before. So, all right, welcome back. This is the next day. We've let this marinade for 24 hours. We're gonna get it out of the pot, out of the marinade, get the marinade stuff into a pot with a can of beef broth, a can of tomato paste, tomato sauce, and a can of diced tomatoes with like garlic and onion in them, and also about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. So I said tomato paste earlier. It's a can of tomato sauce / pureed tomatoes, and then 3 tablespoons of tomato paste along with the beef broth and the diced tomatoes. And we're just gonna take the entire paste that we created out of like the adobo peppers, mix and all the seasonings and the honey and stuff. We're gonna scrape that into a pot, add this to it, let it simmer down and reduce till it's good and thick. Then we'll plunge the pork and the chicken into it, get it in the oven at 200 and let it go for the rest of the afternoon. So let's get to it. Now, this is the pork loin and the piece of chicken that I had sitting in the adobo sauce that I made, and it sat for 24 hours, and you can see it's even made it change colors. So the pork isn't like that pink color anymore, it's actually taken on that brown hue of the adobo sauce, and the chicken as well. So I'm gonna go in with our can of tomatoes. And this is just diced tomatoes, and this one has roasted garlic and onion. Go with our can of beef broth. And then our pureed tomatoes. I guess it's called tomato sauce, but it's just pureed tomatoes. And then I'm going to go in with about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. I'm just going to whisk it together. I'm going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for about 20 minutes or so till it reduces a little bit, till everything gets incorporated. And then I'm put the chicken and the pork into it. And then those are all gonna go in the oven at a really low temperature, probably gonna maybe start at 200. And let it go for the rest of the day. It's only about 11 o'clock. All right, so here's my sauce that I'm gonna braise the meat in. So you can kind of see how thick it is. I've let it reduce for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that was plenty. I'm not having to worry about adding any more broth or anything to it. It's the right consistency that I'm looking for. Put this in here with the lid on and let it braise until about an hour before I'm ready to serve it. And then I'm gonna take the lid off and let it braise open with the lid off so that the sauce will reduce some more as well. So, all right, so there is the pork. There's the chicken. You see I've already cut a little piece off of it. That's our sauce. I'm gonna cut up the pork and the chicken and probably drizzle the sauce over top. So you can see from the braise, it's literally just ready to fall apart right here on the fork. So I'm gonna dip it. I did try it without the sauce first a minute ago before I showed you where I cut it off. It's really good. It's not too spicy without the sauce, so it would be good for some mild heat. But now I'm swathing it in the sauce right now, so. Hey, there it goes. All right, so the meat from sitting in that braise for like 6-7 hours, I think was what the final countdown was for it. It's so tender, it's moist, it just falls apart in your mouth. It's so, sauce itself is like, it's tangy, like not tangy, but like bitter from like the lime and the lemon juice that we used. It's spicy from the adobo peppers. It's salty from the Worcestershire sauce. It's delicious. It's got so many different levels of flavor. It's a little sweet from the honey. It's so good. You guys got to try this one. It's such a great recipe. You can honestly use it with beef, pork, chicken, whatever you want to stick. You want some vegetables, make this sauce and marinate your vegetables and then slow braise them, you know, in a Dutch oven or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is you're going to put it on. It's going to be delicious. It's spicy. It's sweet. It's savory. It's just the best. It's good stuff. You got to try this recipe. Let me know if you try it. Tweet me out at Benson with pictures or whatever if you try it on whatever you try it for. If you change it up a little bit, let me know. If you don't like heat, then you could take out the adobo peppers and just get like a savory barbecue sauce. Not a sweet barbecue sauce, because that's what that adobo, it's kind of like in like a earthy barbecue sauce. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the kitchen.